Did any of the plays convert us this time around? In Jessica Dickey's The Convent, a group of troubled females gather in a medieval convent in the south of France to get in touch with their inner demons and dispel them. Will everyone find the peace they desire so much, or will other desires take over? There seem to mainly be many sides of mother issues that are revealed. I found myself intrigued by everyone despite the illogical actions. The cast were very talented and meshed well together. Daniel Talbot directed this with reining in all the histrionics that happened during the charged encounters. The Convent felt like an episode of Love Boat, where everyone is trying to escape from something. For some, they have it conveniently resolved at the end in a tidy manner, and for others, you are left to wonder and what becomes of them. So I'm giving this a happy face minus. Yeah.
Currently at the 13th Street Rep, The American Tradition by Ray Yamanuchi, and it's directed by Axel Avon Jr. Remarkable show dealing with the Emancipation Proclamation, a black slave passing as a white male plantation owner with her lover trying to escape for the for their freedom up to Pennsylvania, and what happens on their way.
Yes, it cleverly puts the American slavery of the past into the future with a very dramatic opening that doesn't hit home till the end of the play. It's a superb ensemble. Runaway slaves try to escape with subterfuge and wit. And along the way, she meets this guy at the station that's desperately trying to help them out. And she's like, no, we got our own plan. And this guy who really wants to join the Ku Klux Klan, he tries to steal the slave from them. So there's all this like ins and outs, and they encounter another slave that's been trying to run away forever, and she's just fed up with it all, and it's just so brilliantly done.
It really is, and it's short. It's amazingly fast. It's a great evening.
It's got nail-biting excitement, and we wonder, at one point, Ellie and Bill, that's the husband and wife, they get separated. Will they find each other? Will they escape? I mean, it's just like, you're on the edge.
Great plot devices.
And what they've done, the way they've transformed 13th Street Rep, it is so professional, accomplished, and wonderful, so go. Last word. You get the last word.
Go. Definitely go.
Stephen Belber's Joan at Here goes into the mind of Joan as she looks back at moments in her life with family and all the romances in her life. Life in memory can become messy and confused and jump around, but that doesn't stop it from being compelling or relatable. Adam Harrington and Marjan Neshat handle the difficult portrayal of changing ages and characters with such precision that I was never confused as to who or when this took place. The same could be said of Johanna Day, who interacted with the two actors and had to switch emotions as they could go from ex-lovers to relatives. I found this very impressive. They also had to recreate everything on a minimalist set by Andrew Mordick that really did feel like someone's inner brain. Adrian Campbell Holt is an extremely accomplished director who can get a polished performance with just 3 weeks of rehearsal. Stephen Belber has a great way of articulating conflicting feelings with a nice turn of phrase. Especially I like when he said photogenic melancholy, because she's a photographer and she did all these sad pictures. So I love the acting, direction, and writing, and you have that in abundance, and this gets a happy face.
At Classic Stage Company, there are 2 Strindberg plays that are actually quite transformed in Rep. The first one, Miss Julie, written by Jarl Tharber, transforms the 19th century Swedish location to a modern South African one where Miss Julie, the aristocratic girl, is white, and Jean here is John, a black servant who grew up with her. Instead of having his fiancée as Kristen, we have his mother. This completely transforms the play, but really makes it more interesting, the dynamics between John and Christine. Christine has born on that land. Her ancestors are buried under the house, and she's very attached to it. John seems to be attached to his mom and very much attracted from a very early age to Miss Julie. It seems unclear why, since she's such an unappealing character here.
And actually this is not modern, this is during apartheid. So,
well, but it's not 19th century.
No, but it's still apartheid.
I think it's after apartheid because they're celebrating Freedom Day, Eva.
I
2012, Freedom Day 2012.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
To me, it felt like it was still apartheid the way they
Well,
were carrying on.
I guess.
And to me, when you go see this, this is not Miss Julie. This is not Strindberg's Miss Julie. This is a completely different play. All the sexual tension is totally gone. This is really about race and class and staying where your ancestors are. I felt no sexual tension between them. I felt no romance, no nothing between them. I mean, to me, I was just all race and class.
Well, there was a lot of sex.
I didn't feel it from them at all.
Yeah. Well, again, I think the trouble is that the way this Miss Julie is written, she's completely uninteresting. She's kind of vapid, not even really bossy, just kind of bratty. So I just, Jean seems to be attracted to her, but you don't see why.
Well,
anyway.
Because he's a man and she's wiggling her ass at him. I mean, any guy would go for that. I mean,
Well, maybe.
But it was just sort of like rudimentary instead of like, racy.
Or rooting. He's rooting.
Yes.
Anyway,
I knew you could get a pun out of it.
I give it a mix because when it's good, it's very good. And when it's bad, it's just completely misguided.
And to me, it's a good play on racism, but not a good play about Miss Julie.
Also at Classic Stage Company is Strindberg's Dance of Death in a new version by Conor McPherson, brilliantly directed by Victoria Clark. This is the basic Strindberg play. It's still 19th century. It's still a husband and wife celebrating 25 years of a very bad marriage, and they're living sort of isolated in this military enclave, and a friend who sort of put them together 25 years ago is coming to visit. He was a ne'er-do-well who's now doing well, and, will they destroy each other in front of them, or will they bring him down with them? It sounds like it would be a miserable evening, but it's actually a lot of fun.
Oh, Victoria Clark, my God, not only is she a brilliant actress, she's an incredible director. I love the way she set it up in the beginning with them dancing their entire courtship. First, they're all happy dancing, and then they're kind of doing this like tango back, that's like almost a patchy dance, and you can just see how the relationship crumbles and crumbles. Because she's like a former actress, and she thinks she could have been famous if she hadn't married this drudging soldier that's like got her trapped on some island, and they just tear each other apart.
But she's no bargain either,
I know,
and
that's
it's unclear that she would ever have made it as an actress.
I mean, even though they're all equally miserable, horrible people, you just enjoy them because they're deliciously evil and nasty. I mean, this is fun.
And the dynamics are so clever.
Who knew Strindberg could be fun?
I usually enjoy him.
So forget Miss Julie. That was
I think it's interesting. If you're a Miss Julie fan, you'd want to see what's done to it.
Bina hated what they did to it.
Bina hates everything.
She was confused.
But anyway, this one we all agreed we liked.
Yes. Daniel Berrigan's trial of the Catonsville Nine uses transcripts from the actual trial when priest Daniel with his brother Philip and 7 other parishioners broke into a Maryland draft office May 17, 1968 and burned 368 draft cards with homemade napalm to protest the Vietnam War. Soon we learned the background of all the people involved, including the poor patriotic clerk who valiantly tried to stop them. What struck me most about these well-meaning and to me heroic people was their desire to save children. With Pei Yi Wong's time-remembering set, Fran Zhang's eerie sound design, and R. Lee Kennedy's dramatic lighting at the end, Jack Cummings III directed this age-old piece with an immediacy to generate present-day piece. The 3 actors, Mia Kadikbak, Eunice Wong, and David Huang, took turns playing participants, lawyers, and narrator to remind us how important it is to speak out against injustices. They were marvelous in such close quarters to reenact these people with such humanity that mesmerized the audience. This was not a trial to see at all. And also, it was like during the time of the World War II was still in their mind, and the Nuremberg trial, and they remembered how the Germany people were so complicit, and that's why they were doing this. They were not going to be complicit like the Germans. So this gets a happy face minus because it was very uncomfortable. It's extremely cold when you get it there. It gets really hot, and the haze kind of made me queasy. But it was worth it because it was great effect.
Making its world premiere at Shelter Studios is The Glen, a coming-of-age drama. It's about a rebellious farm boy named Dale, adopted as an infant by a strict mother and an ineffectual father, who grows up in the 30s and 40s in Grass Valley, California, and doesn't realize until after he joined the Army that he was attracted to men. The Glen follows Dale's journey by way of present-day action and flashbacks from innocent to maturity, tracking his uncertain path as a private falsely accused of insubordination by an underhanded Army major, though his affair with a possible spy in 1950s Berlin, and back to his ultimate confrontation with his forgiving mother and a secret she has hidden from him all his life. It's a wonderful play, marvelously acted. The star who plays the young boy is Matthew Dalton Lynch, and it is inspired partly by the critic Glen Loney, who just died a few months ago. I give it a happy face. It's just wonderful. Whoops.
A Happy Face Plus.
A happy face plus.
Blackfriar Rep, in conjunction with Storm Theater, puts on Eugene O'Neill's tender comedy of teenage angst, A Wilderness. It's set in 4th of July, Connecticut in 1906, when it was scandalous to swear, drink, or read Shaw, Ibsen, Wilde, or Swinburne. Richard Miller, a lovesick teenager, is chastised for sending improper poetry to his lady fair Muriel and using slang in front of his mother. I mean, get the goods. Oh, really? Terrible. Churlishly, he decides to show Muriel and parents a thing or two and proceeds to drink and hang out with a questionable female. Richard's father has something to say on his reprehensible behavior. This play brings up the same emotions found in Wilder's Our Town with George and Emily, but without the tragedies. Parents worry about their children's morality and being decent human beings with their same upright values. Nobody has sex before marriage. Drinking is frowned upon. You must always speak properly and respectfully and read only good books. And I must say, the young man, Peter Atkinson, he was so perfect in the part. You can even hear his voice changing as he's going from like being a little boy to a young man. It was just a fabulous. I love this so much. The entire cast, everything about this.
Maverick at the Connolly is written by Frank Beecham and George Demas, co-directed by Dave Elliott and George Demas, and it's about Frank Beecham's encounter with Orson Welles in 1980 to 85, toward the end of Welles' life. Beecham was a videographer who was big success was the Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, and Welles is intrigued by the new Betacam technology, which very lightweight camera that would allow sound and image to be recorded at the same time and might work for magic. But it's very unclear what Welles' project is, what his budget, and as usual, he brings everyone down with him. It's interesting material, but not really a good play, so I'm giving it a mixed.
Paul Mecurio's Permission to Speak is based on the premise that everyone has a story to tell. He illustrates this by pulling random people from the audience and with subtle questioning gets people to impart some pretty surprising revelations. You are allowed to heckle and shout responses and be as rowdy as you want, which added to the merriment of the evening. And for once, you didn't have to worry about being politically correct. Anything goes. We went on the coldest day of the year, but it was such a warm-hearted show that we both felt like we were in a cozy party with everyone having a fine old time, talking and listening to each other. You never know about people until you start getting them to open up and find out that everyone does have a very special story to tell us. So you can be a repeat offender and go back because you never know what surprises the audience has to offer. Me and my friend both give this a happy face, and I got pulled up, and you can imagine what happened when I told him I was a theater critic. I had the opportunity to go to the opening of God Shows Up by Peter Filichia and talk to him about his brilliant play. It's so funny, with Maggie Bofel, Lou Liberatore, and Christopher Sutton, directed by Christopher Scott. Oh, here we are at the opening of
God Shows Up,
written by
Peter Filichia.
And what inspired you to come down like the wrath of God on these horrible evangelists. It's almost like shooting fish in a barrel.
Well, I suppose it is. No, actually, this happened because of the Theatre World Awards, which I do every June. Eric Krebs came to see them, and he said to me, you know, I think you're kind of funny. And I've had an idea for a play. What would happen if God came down to Earth? How would he react to people and what they've done with the planet? And so I said, okay. I also said, well, Eric, this sounds like a commission to me, so I think you should write a check, which he generously did. I mean, usually they say, well, you know, we'll take a look at it later and see what we think. No, he wrote out a check. So that was certainly enough motivation, but that was a year and a half ago already, because it took time to write it, and I do 3 columns a week, and I've been working on other shows too. But we did a bunch of readings. At first it was called Back from Serendipity, because my concept is that where's God been all this time? He's been on our sister planet Serendipity, which he made a long time ago, just when he made the Earth, but he wanted to see how the 2 planets would do independently of each other. So they're so far away from each other, as God says, the left one doesn't know what the right one is doing. But he liked it on Serendipity. The people were really nice there, and the implication is they were nicer than the people we have here on Earth, especially as the televangelist. It's amazing to me how these guys do so well with people. I mean, yeah, I'm in a lot of hotel rooms, and on Sunday morning I turn on and I see these people in these enormous arenas packed with people who just really believe what they are told. I guess people really just need to believe. It gives them hope, and fine, but I don't buy much of it, not much at all.
Mark Savitt saw Talking Band, City of No Illusions at La Mama. Sisters running a funeral home near the Canadian border help find immigrants refuge in Buffalo. And here I am trying to leave Buffalo. Warm, quirky, with complex character and lovely music. Happy Face, Mark liked it. He really liked it. And I was at the press conference for my very own British Invasion, which is going to be at the Paper Mill Playhouse. It's about Peter Noonan's falling in love, and I talked to some people there, and I might have time for There's a Kind of Hush all over the world.
We are with
Conor Ryan,
Erika Olson,
Jonny Mies.
and you are the love triangle. Everyone loves the love triangle. So explain what part of the triangle you all are.
I play Trip, Pamela's boyfriend, and within the context of this love triangle, sort of the antagonist.
Oh, she starts out with you. She's with you first?
That's right, she's with me first.
Yes, so we're kind
That's
of
right.
yeah, I'm a golden girl. My name is Pamela. She's kind of a pop star of the 60s, and Trip and I are together, and we are kind of this
This hot,
Yeah.
heavy rock star, you know, romance. Sure, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then in this little twerp.
So you're breaking them up. You're actually the bad guy in this.
Listen, I come and ruin everything. That's my job in this show. Now I play Peter. I play a young northern lad who comes down the coast of Britain to steal away the woman. Really, that's my story. Through love, of course. You know, no other motive. It's and music, absolutely perfectly put. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, although I would venture to say that, you know, Pamela does make her own decisions about this whole love triangle. We've got,
You heard her.
This is modern love, baby. It may be set in the 60s, but this is still 2019.
This was when the revolution when females started to take charge began.
And, you know, be your own bird.
Yeah.
Fly.
But how did you end up breaking them up how did you was it love at first sight or what? I mean, because they're a couple and then you come in and she why did you leave him for him?
It's, well, yeah. I mean, from Peter's point of view, he falls desperately in love, like hopelessly so, and is annoyingly persistent. You know what I mean? He doesn't give up, basically.
He persists.
Persists, exactly, and it's like in a very pure, honest way, because he just falls for the. This is a story about someone's first love, and you know you can't control that, and Peter certainly can't. And even though she's in the arms of this like ultra famous, young, sexy, hot Conor Ryan figure.
I'd be jealous if I were you.
Yeah. I mean, he can't help himself, and he lays his cards out on the table, and yeah, you better come watch to find out what happens.
Yeah, these are teenagers in love, singing about love, dancing to love, and you know, they're not necessarily the most rational and pragmatic of characters, but that's what makes you love them.
They're human.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, not that we would have any experience because we certainly weren't there, but you know, this story is set in London in the 60s in a time when music and youth was dirty and messy and hungry, and our show, I think, really like pulses with that energy. At least that's our goal.
Yeah. Got a great group, and you know, we're all playing instruments and we're making our own music on stage and off.
I did play the tambourine once.
Yeah, you rip it up.
Rocking out.
We're all rocking out.
So here we are with,
Oh, I'm Daniel Stewart Sherman. Hi.
and you are playing the part of,
Hammer. The Hammer. Just the Hammer.
and who is the Hammer?
The Hammer is a fixer for a cleaner for Trip.
A cleaner, that sounds ominous. What's the cleaner do?
So if Trip has a problem, the Hammer will come in and fix that problem. He'll take care of things that need to be taken care of that Trip doesn't have to deal with anymore.
And how did Trip come to realize he needed a cleaner to begin with?
Well, you know, when you're a big star like Trip is, and Trip is a huge star, up and coming star, certain problems will arise, and Trip needs to worry about being a star. He doesn't need to worry about fixing problems. So he has the Hammer come in and take care of the problems so he can continue being a big star.
So behind every great star is a cleaner.
Sure.
The Herman.
Good for you.
How'd you come up with that name?
It was from the Bullwinkle show. There was Sherman and Professor Peabody, and I had these glasses on, and they said, you look like Sherman from Professor Peabody, Sherman and Professor Peabody. And I said, okay, let's call the band, and the guy said, no, call it Herman, because Herman's a more easier name, and somebody there said, and Herman and the Hermits, they look like hermits, and that was the name of the band.
Wow.
All in one little English pub that happened.
The best things happen in a pub, don't they?
I think so, yeah.
Is that where you met the love interest, that's Pamela?
Not in the pub. In the Bag of Nails, that was where everyone would meet. That was the hangout for everybody. It would be
Like a pub, or what kind, or was it just a music club, or what exactly was the Bag of Nails?
It's actually a private club. With a discotheque, I think it would be called now. It was a private club, so the members were the heir to the Guinness fortune, and a couple of the Beatles, and me, and Jimi Hendrix. Eventually, I met my wife there 50 years ago, and we both went the same night to see Jimi Hendrix. It was a place where people would get up on the stage and play.
So if it's a private club, how were you able to gain admission then?
That's in the story. John Lennon gets me in because I'm underage. I'm not old enough to go in the club or drink, but he gets me in and he buys me a drink.
So you all guys knew each other at the time?
England is a very small place. England is a very small place, like the size of New Jersey. So we all would run into each other multiple times in a year. All of us. You'd see the Stones on a Sunday, you'd see the Beatles on Friday, and we all knew each other. We all just basically, we weren't necessarily fans of each other's music, but we all liked each other, and we were not competitive because we weren't like the Beatles, and the Beatles weren't like the Stones, and nobody was like each other. So we weren't. Yeah, but if you know, all the people from the British invasion are unique. I had an idea that I would reminisce about a night in the Bag of Nails when I walked into the Bag of Nails and John Lennon was there and he bought me a drink and there was Marianne Faithfull and Mick Jagger and lots of other people, and I told my story to somebody and we said we should make a musical with all the songs that were in the charts, all those great songs that have got legs. Still 50 years later people still know the words and sing along to the songs, and I said it could only work if we get Rick Ellis to write it.
Oh, you thought of Rick immediately?
Because of Jersey Boys. I thought he knows how to connect a story to the songs. We've got the songs. Now somebody has to put the words to make the songs work.
And he was the only one, I think, alive who knew how to do that. And then we said, and also, we need Jerry Mitchell. And we got Jerry Mitchell as well, so and Hal Luftig put us all together, and then it just got rolling. It took 4.5 years.
The interviews and longer interviews, longer reviews, and everything else can be found on the Facebook, on the YouTube, where it says Eva Heinemann. There's Twitter, 6-second review. The Mortality Machine, I'm going February 12th to see that. More interviews, songs, and everything else on our next show, March 2nd. Leslie and DiLeo saw A Man for All Season, which has a fabulous cast. It's about Sir Thomas More against Henry VIII, following his conscience and losing his head over it, and it's just so well done. She gave it a half face plus. You can see her review on Facebook, and we'll talk about it more on our next show. Lots of events at 54 Below with Scott Siegel. Charles Busch is back February 27th. Derek Klena is on there February 18th. Karen Akers is the Beach Club February 16th. David Sloan's Corn and Mo Love Show. And Musicals and Mufti has taken, Musicals Tonight is doing 5-minute Dan McGee with Cole Porter music. It's back! Yay! Musical and Mufti continues their learner with The Day Before Spring and Lolita My Love. Theater Resources Solo Success with Valerie David. And Theater for New City Love and Courage Benefit on Monday, February 25th at the Players Club. And Gilbert and Sullivan is doing Ages Ago and Mr. Jericho at March 1st through 3rd. Very little known work, so it's going to be interesting to see them. And they always do such a fabulous job, so that should be fun. 92nd Street Y with Alex Trebek. Pacific Overtures. Lyrics and Lyricists with Sammy Davis Jr. February 23rd to 26th. I'm excited. Lots of good theater going on all over the place. Spaceman at the Wild Project. I'm going to be checking that out because I love astronaut stories. And 59E59 is always great. Talking about Ethel Eichelberger at La Mama. Oh, God, I miss that woman. Metropolitan Playhouse is back with State of the Union. One Year Lease has Eat the Devil. Theater 2020 is doing Into the Woods. And the closed reviews we talked about on the show. And don't forget to check out Parody Productions. Don't forget to pick up your Performing Arts Inside of the Cultural Heartbeat of New York City. That's where I get all my information from. Next show, March 2nd. And again, on YouTube, Eva Heinemann. You can see the full reviews of things and interviews and everything else.